my Greenberg studios at WHIG, it's Up Late with Sam Bass.
Thank you, Scott Smith, and welcome to Up Late with Sam Bass. As always, let me thank my green room sponsor, ServPro Rocky Mountain Tarboro. Fine folks over there. Also, I've got a backdrop sponsor, the fine folks at Allegra Printing of Rocky Mount. You know, this backdrop is the reason I have to watch my back when the other WHIG hosts are nearby, by the way. Just a little play on words. So you might have wondered how we're going to top last week's guest, Greg Fishel. Tonight, we have waiting behind the scenes, ready to go. Wait for it. Will Ferrell. That's right. And if that weren't enough, we also have a local beer brewer and entrepreneur, Randy Langloss. I like to call him Randy Mustache. He's the owner of NC Beer Factory right here in Rocky Mount, and also the owner of an extraordinary mustache. So that means the theme tonight, by the way, will be maybe the mustache. We'll see. So we're going to find out more about Randy later, so sit tight. Let me go back to the Greg Fishel thing for a minute. My wife, Marty, is pretty disappointed that she didn't get to come and meet Greg Fishel last week. Now, she's met him been a while back, but she really wanted to come. She was supposed to be here, but she was under the weather. Pun intended. If you know Greg, you know what I'm talking about. Which got me to thinking, you know, cold and flu season, we're right in the middle of it. I probably need to add a little bit more vitamin C to my diet. So instead of just my straight vodka in the morning, I'm going to make vodka and orange juice. I've started doing that and I'm feeling good. So that's the plan, folks. So if you want to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, that's what I'm doing, vodka and orange juice in the morning. So we got an email this week. We hadn't had one in a while. And it's from my old friend, PamPlaysPickleball@yahoo.com. That email address in itself says a lot. So for those of you who don't know who Pam is a friend of the show. And she also has a lot of cats. So Pam probably is stalking me. But anyhow, she emails gifts to the show and things like that. So that kind of is an indication. So anyhow, Pam writes. Here it is. Pam writes, Dear Sam, I'm sorry I haven't written to you in a while. My feelings were hurt when I heard you threw away my gift that I sent you. So just so you know, she sent me this little creepy doll that was made out of cat hair. So what I'm saying. So anyhow, she continues, Fluffy and I put a lot of work into that gift, but anyway, I am a very happy place right now in my life, so I'm in a very forgiving mood. So why am I happy, you may ask? I'm happy because I have very exciting news. I just want to share this with you first. I just got a brand new kitty cat. Like she needs another one, right? And I named it Pickleball. Isn't that a great name? Well, folks, you know how I am about pickleball. I would have been happier with bourbon ball, but we'll just live with that. Apparently, Pam did not get the memo about how I feel about pickleball, and I hope Randy does not play it. If he does, we're going to have a problem. So back to the mustache theme. I mentioned it earlier. We've got a lot of great mustaches out there, folks. A lot. Geraldo Rivera, great mustache. Hulk, the Hulkster, Hulkmania. Hulk Hogan, great mustache. Clark Gable. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn mustache. I don't think that's what it's called, but that's what I'm going to call it. Saddam, as George Bush Sr. would say, Hussein. Bad guy, good mustache. So there's also been a couple of presidents with notable mustaches. Teddy Roosevelt, bully. Our heaviest president. big old William Howard Taft. He had a big old mustache. Bill Clinton. Wait a minute. Bill Clinton didn't have a mustache, did he? No, he's the one that had a notable intern. Something about a cigar in this story. I won't go any further with that. So, suffice it to say, there's a lot of interesting mustaches out there to choose from. But I have managed to narrow down to what I think are the top 5 most interesting mustaches. Folks, I seriously must have too much time on my hands. But here we go. Here are the top 5 most interesting mustaches. Ladies and gentlemen, number 5, whiskers. This guy, he kind of looks like a cat. This is the guy that I could see Pam, the cat lady, hooking up with. Number 4, the horseshoe. So this is a mustache that gets its name because it looks like a horseshoe. Not just anybody can pull this one off, folks. But country music star John Rich, as you see pictured here, he has his own brand of whiskey these days. He's a cool guy. He's one guy that can pull this off. By the way, while we're talking about it, this is his whiskey. Redneck Riviera. That's what we're drinking now over here. At least for now. Hold that thought. So going forward, I think we're going to say that Redneck Riviera will be our official brand. Number 3, the painter's brush. That's an interesting name for a mustache, isn't it? Painter's brush. This picture is I was a huge Burt Reynolds fan back in the day. And I would say it's probably a pretty safe thing to say that Burt did some really good painting with that mustache back then. You may remember a while back there was an SNL sketch. It was Jeopardy. And they brought in Norm Macdonald. He played Burt Reynolds on the Jeopardy episode. It started off as Burt Reynolds, ended up being Turd Ferguson. Can I even say that on the air? Anyhow, that's what happened. And Will Ferrell was playing Alex Trebek, by the way, with a mustache. So we're going to have to, can we get somebody to go check with Will back there and see if he can talk about that story a little bit? Maybe we can check it out. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Anyway, we'll check it out. I said it again, damn. With Will. We'll talk to him about it later. Number 3, the walrus. Isn't there a Beatles song, I Am the Walrus? Speaking of our friend Will Ferrell, here he is a little earlier, before we went on the air, sporting his fine mustache. Now, I don't know if you got the memo that we were going to be talking about mustaches this week, but it's going to fit right in. He wanted to come out and check the chair to make sure his buttocks would fit appropriately. Folks, we are talking about Will Ferrell here. But like I said, the mustache is officially called the walrus, but Will insists we call it the mouth mane. We have to ask him about that later. And finally, the number 1 most interesting mustache, in my opinion anyway, is the Captain Hook. That's right, folks. The man in this picture is actually a guest tonight. Randy Mustache Langloss is here tonight. So the picture kind of gives me some Richard Petty vibes. But he'll be coming up here in a minute, right after the break. Sit tight, don't go anywhere.
When you're the leader in disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Let it rain, Randy! Woo! Yes! By being prepared for anything! Woo! Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
We're back. with our special guest. There he is in person, Randy Langloss. You know, when you have a mustache like this, it's kind of hard to talk sometimes. So how do you like it? Look good? Maybe not? Okay. Kind of looks like the Monopoly guy. But anyway, it doesn't make me feel sophisticated, even though some people say I may look that way with it. But
It'd be hard to compete with that one. So.
Yeah, well, you know, I had to outdo you, which is hard to do.
Not hard to do.
It's very hard to do. So I want to make you a challenge. You know, as I say on the show a lot, I challenge people all the time. Can we get you to shave your mustache off tonight if I shave mine off?
No. No.
Well, you know, it will be a shame for that mustache to go away. That's one of the great mustaches in Rocky Mountain, in case you didn't know that already. So, with that being said, I will shave mine off now. Okay. All right, so Randy was kind enough to bring us a nice glass of beer. Tell me a little bit about what we're drinking here.
Tonight, I brought you one of our seasonal beers. It's called Fall Fest, and it's just a nice cream ale that is flavored with pumpkin spice. So it's a pumpkin spice cream ale. It's very popular this time of year. And
Let's give it a shot.
Cheers.
That's pretty good.
It's one of my favorites.
Very good. Folks, I am not a pumpkin spice guy. Let's make that clear. But this is really good. So drop by NC Beer Factory and get some. So where are you originally from?
Originally from Nebraska.
So you're a Husker.
Through and through. You know, God was a Husker.
So tell me, I know that's it's not offensive if I say, hey, my good friend Randy's a Husker.
No, not offensive at all.
So tell me what a Husker is. Corn Husker?
Corn Husker.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your experience in Nebraska.
Born and bred just down the road from Memorial Stadium, which, by the way, is the third largest city in the state of Nebraska on football Saturday.
Okay.
All good Nebraskans will know that. Didn't go to school there, but I was born and bred as a Cornhusker, so I got to support them.
I may be thinking about the wrong school, but isn't Larry the Cable Guy a big
Absolutely.
Nebraska fan?
He definitely.
Because I've seen him, he throws
regularly.
hot dogs out in the stands or something when they score or something.
Yep.
I've seen that.
Yep.
So that's when you got a famous fan. That's always a good thing, you know.
Yeah. Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson, yeah, Nebraska guy. My idol, one of my idols, by the way. So how did you get in the business of brewing beer?
Completely by accident. I sent my son off to college to be a chemist, and he came home having learned to make beer, and so he taught me how to make beer. And when I retired, I don't golf, I don't fish. My wife wouldn't let me stay home. I kind of liked making beer in the driveway. We had a pretty good group of friends, so we decided to get a bigger garage and have more friends.
So tell me about your wife. I know her, she's a sweetheart. How did you guys meet?
We were high school sweethearts, and we were going to get married after high school, but that didn't work out. Life went on, as it does sometimes.
All right.
And 30-some years later, we met again, and it was just like old times. So we've been married now, just had our 10th anniversary.
Wow, that is a cool story. Does she like the mustache?
Well, she better.
You ever played like you were going to tire up to the railroad track and do that?
No.
So how did you get, I know you said the brewing business, you kind of started at home.
Yep.
But how did you take that the next step and open a business with it?
Like many home brewers, there was always something new to buy, something a little bit bigger. So I started out making 5-gallon batches, and now as a commercial brewer, I'm still brew just like a home brewer, but I make what's known as a 1-barrel system. So that's about 30 gallons at a time.
Okay.
But it's still same process as I did at home. Just got a little big for a home brewer, but awful small for a commercial brewer.
Well, I can tell people they need to go out there. NC Beer Factory out on Wesleyan Boulevard /301. What's the exact address?
500 South Wesleyan.
So not only has he got this really good and cool beer, but it's a cool place. The Chambers had an event or two out there, and it's really I love going out there, and it's a good vibe if you can get a chance to go out there. I highly recommend it. A recommendation from me is a big thing, folks. Go see Randy out at NC Beer, and it's not necessarily North Carolina beer, right?
It is not North Carolina beer. It is NC beer, which originally was for Nash County. And then as we played with the name, we realized that we made neighborhood craft beer, and we made it in Nash County, and we were in North Carolina. And every once in a while, we'll sit around and come up with other NC words. So it's NC Beer Factory.
Other NC words? That's pretty good.
Nancy Charlie, you know.
Nancy Charlie beer. So, prior to this, you're a veteran.
I am.
Veterans are a big thing in my life. My dad was a veteran. My dad is buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Veterans to me are, very high on my list of people. Tell me about your career a little bit. I know some of it you can't tell me, but tell me, I know you were in the Navy and the Air Force. How did that work?
Well, I spent 21 years in the Air Force, retired from uniform in the Air Force. Spent a few years as a defense contractor in between, and then spent another, I think it was 17 or 18 years with the Navy, where I recently retired. And then decided to make beer.
Well, I mean, that was a short answer to a long question.
Well, I could tell you the rest, Sam, but I'd probably have to kill you.
So recently, my good friend was on our show, Mike Manazar, Admiral Mike Manazar. He came to an event that Randy was at, and Randy was telling me earlier that they were having conversation about stuff that nobody else but them knew about, secret stuff.
It kind of works that way, but Admiral Manazar is a wonderful guy. I remember him fondly. He was a lot more important than I was.
Nobody is more important. He can't grow a mustache like that, I can tell you that. Well, maybe he can, but I don't think so.
Wonderful guy.
Yeah, he's a good man. So you went to George Mason University.
Many years ago, yeah. Got an MBA from George Mason. Also have a degree in computer science, 2 degrees in computer science.
Wow.
From Colorado State, an alumni, even though I'm a Husker, and then the Air Force Institute of Technology as well.
This guy is more than a pretty face. He's more than a mustache, I got to tell you. So I'm going to change gears a little bit. You have a lot of dogs on your Facebook page.
We do love the puppies. My wife is more likely to know your dog's name than yours. And we support many fundraisers out there, one of them being, we call it Pints and Puppies. She brings in local animal shelter, and they'll bring the puppies in where you can meet them and fill out the paperwork. If you fill out the paperwork ahead of time, you could actually take a puppy home with you, but it's always a wonderful time. I really encourage. In fact, we just had one a few Saturdays ago, and we try to have them about every other month. So watch for those announcements and come on out, check it out. It's a great time.
You've got a couple of pets. I've seen them at your place.
Well, we have two dogs of our own, Molly and Bailey. We call Bailey the doorbell because she will bark at any time she hears a car in the parking lot. And then Molly's our greeter. So you have to kind of get past Molly to come in the door because Molly will run up barking at you at the door and then decide whether you're okay or not to come in.
Right.
But she hadn't found anybody not okay yet.
Right. So I need you to take a swallow of your beer because I'm way ahead of you.
Uh-oh.
It's going to make me look bad if you don't.
We would not want that to happen.
No, never, ever want that to happen. So I want to talk about something that happened in your life recently that you told me about. You had a near-death experience.
There was no near to it. I was dead.
Tell me about it and how it changed you as a person.
It just didn't really change me. It confirmed some things. I never thought I was afraid of dying. I confirmed I'm not. I had a massive heart attack, went without a pulse for over 7 minutes, and wasn't supposed to be here.
Wow.
All of my doctors are thoroughly amazed about that. I'm not quite sure how to explain it other than, while it's statistically possible, it's not very likely. While I had some damage at the time, I've recovered almost completely, and it's just a miracle. And I could tell you the details, and they're wonderful, but if you don't believe in miracles after hearing my story, you just don't want to believe in them.
Well, I mean, Did it change you as far as how you look at life?
Like probably many people, there's a lot of things that I might have thought were important, I might have got upset about. I don't get too upset about too much anymore. What are you going to do? Kill me? Sorry, been there, done that. So it's just a great story. It's a great conversation starter. And I'm just blessed beyond my wildest dreams. Good Lord's got a plan for me, and I'm glad I'm still here to see what's next.
Well, you look great, look very healthy. I'm thinking this contributed towards that, because you really do look good. And I've not known you that long, but I knew you before this happened. I mean...
And I was ugly? No.
Never. My wife's going to kill me if I don't ask you. Did you see anything? Did you see a light? Anything like that? Did you get in with that near-death experience?
I did not see a light or hear a voice, but I know I wasn't here. I've been in surgeries. I've been knocked unconscious. And this was different than any of those. I clearly had a sense of being not here. And when I came back, it was instant. I was instantly wide awake. I didn't wake up groggy or anything. I was just bam.
But this happened like in the parking lot of the hospital.
Well, I was walking through the door. I made it through the door, told the receptionist I thought I was having a heart attack, and she said, "Follow me," and I never quite made it to the emergency room, but I was headed that way. But,
luckily for you, I think you told me that somebody, there was an emergency room doctor getting off duty that saw you. And
I don't know whether he was getting off duty or not, but he was in the hallway when I went down, I guess. And so he jumped on me and started CPR, and then it took him, I think it was 7 minutes to
7 minutes.
Get the crash cart over to me and give me a zap and get me going again.
Wow.
So it's an amazing story.
Well, not many people out there can tell that story because they never come back.
It's less than 1%. It's less than 1%.
Wow.
Well, only 10% survive in any form. And of that 10%, only, I think it's 1% or less of that 10% survive without being damaged, without severe brain damage or internal organ damage. And, well, the brain damage, we keep taking surveys, but we've decided that was a pre-existing condition. So.
that's me too. So I get that.
So, and had no internal organ damage or anything. So.
That is so great. Happy to hear that because
thank you.
You're really a good guy and you're a great guy in the community and you do a lot of community things. We're going to get that in a second. I do want to ask you one little random question. Would you say you have, other than brewing beer and growing mustaches, you're great at both of those, do you have any kind of other special talents or abilities I wouldn't know about?
Well, I'm just a fantastic backgammon player. But
backgammon. That is so exciting, man. Calm down, everybody. He plays backgammon.
I ridden motorcycles since I was a little kid. Raced them in high school. Still ride today. In fact, we've got a veterans ride coming up, and we'll be participating in that.
Okay.
As well.
So tell them what we just got back from tonight.
Oh, well, God, just remember, it's been such a long day. We were out at Beans and Brews, which is a fundraiser for Meals on Wheels. I was there. It's always a wonderful time. Great community event. And so when we opened up last year, we got an invite to come out, and this is our second year out there. What a great group of people, and it's just always a blast to go out and support Meals on Wheels.
So at the Chamber, we participate in Meals on Wheels. It's really, it's just a heartfelt type thing to be able to help people that need help. And that's a great organization. So I appreciate anything anybody can do for them because they're good folks and they do a lot for the community. So let's go back and talk about coming up, the Ride for the Veterans. Talk about that a little bit.
The Veterans is a big event for us. I have a great heart for the veterans. Spent most of my life, obviously, trying to keep our guys alive. And so we have a ride coming up, the Harley-Davidson shop. Pruitt Healthcare is supporting it, or sponsoring it, to raise money to take care of veterans, hospice care here in eastern North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And then Harley-Davidson.
Flying Iron.
Flyer and Iron.
That's hard to say.
They'll be having a big event out at the Harley-Davidson shop on Saturday the 11th, but on Friday night, they call it a ride-in. They'll be coming out to the beer factory, NC Beer Factory, and we'll be feeding the veterans, and we invite the public to come out and just pay their respects, be a part of it. There'll be a meal out there for them. There'll be a ceremony for some veterans while we're out there that night, and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be an honor to be a part of it. And I have a big heart for the veterans. If there's anything probably motivates me, that's as big as anything. We keep an honors table always there for the veterans, and it's pretty important too.
Well, God bless you for that, because I'm right there with you on the veterans. And the honors table is something you have to see out at NC Beer when you go. And Randy will tell you all about it. And every time I talk to him about it, he gets teary-eyed, like he is right now. So, so please support this nice event, because it's very important that we appreciate our veterans. And listen, I want to take a minute to thank you for what you do in the community and for coming on the air with us tonight. I appreciate you and appreciate everything you do.
It's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure, Sam. It's wonderful to be a part of this.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
It's a great place to be in Rocky Mount.
Yes, sir. We'll be right back. Hey, I want to thank my special guest tonight, Randy Langloss, for coming on, telling us a lot of good information. I want to apologize again for running out of time for Will Ferrell.
I can't believe you did this to me!
Celebrities and their egos. I should know, right? Hey, I'd like to thank our special guest, Randy Langloss, for coming on tonight. And I want to apologize to Will Ferrell for running out of time again. I promise we're going to get there sooner or later. Where there's a will, there's a way. I promise you, we're going to do this thing. So make sure, Alexa, remind me to watch Up Late with Sam Bass every Thursday night at 10, right here on WHIG. Hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon, and stay classy, Rocky Mount.